go drop like rain, nigga, watch me hit those trees. What's poppin'? Hope this video finds you well, and before we start, please do me the big one. Like, sub, comment, and share with anyone who will listen. As always, it's much appreciated. I hope you enjoy what is probably my most opinionated video to date, and it revolves around the fact that I think Itachi made a slew of wrong decisions in his life, and not even starting with the massacre of his own clan. So take the journey with me as we go through and map out some of Itachi's biggest mistakes, and how they could have possibly been avoided. But before that, let's talk a little bit about Itachi himself. He's the son of the Uchiha clan leader, one of the youngest, brightest, and strongest his clan has to offer. Beyond that, he's a ninja of the Hidden Leaf, and by the time he leaves the Leaf, is a crucial asset to the village just because of how insanely strong he is, and he's no more than 13 to 14 years old when he leaves, meaning he's younger than Naruto in the beginning of Shippuden. And let's just put that into perspective real quick. Side by side at the same age as Naruto, Itachi single-handedly, and yes, it was basically single-handedly because Obito only handled Uchiha who weren't ninja, like women and children, and Itachi handled the entire police force, including his own mother and father, and the crazy thing is, he was completely torn up about it, so I can't imagine he was fighting at full capacity, which means even distraught and grief-stricken, Itachi had enough focus and talent and sheer power to take on a force that the Leaf hesitated to for fear of repercussions like being left vulnerable to other villages in the wake of a coup. Meaning the Leaf was pretty much sure it wouldn't come out unscathed if it was to go to blows with the Uchiha, and I personally think the Leaf village would have fallen to the Uchiha just based off of how far Sasuke comes with a regular Sharingan, and sure, the curse mark might have made all the difference for him specifically. But if you mean to tell me Sasuke was one of the strongest Uchiha to ever live by the time we reached the first Valley of the End fight, then we might have to start putting the Uchiha closer to fodder than the legendary clan. But then again, that reputation may very well have come from the Warring States era and just stuck around based off the fact that the Uchiha are now part of an even stronger conglomerate. But even still, I find it hard to believe that the Uchiha had an entire police force, undercover Anbu, and ninja in every sect of the Leaf Village's politics, and they weren't fully confident in pulling off a coup. Especially when they were so hell-bent on doing it that seemingly the only way to stop them was to have an Uchiha member murder his own clan. Even the way the elders of the village react tells me the Uchiha not only had a good chance of winning, but that they had more than enough justification to do what they were planning to do. Because the village had already separated and suppressed them by the time Itachi's even born. They live on the outskirts of the village, and because they're the police force, they take on all the responsibility of authority, while all the other sects pretty much skip right past that. The Anbu are like secret service, so they're not even interacting with the public. Normal ninja are soldiers, so they aren't in any authoritative position, and regardless of if you like the Hokage or not, they're like the president. They're not out arresting people in the street. So already you have half of the village's animosity aimed directly at the Uchiha, and the police force specifically, and the other half is slapped on right after it's insinuated that an Uchiha unleashed a nine-tailed fox on the village, and that may have been the case, but even if it had been a non-rogue Uchiha, even if the entire clan was in on it, it makes it so much worse when you tell the Uchiha at large not only are they going to be blamed for this attack, they can't go anywhere near the attack to help stop it, which makes the damage even more severe since it takes longer to get under control. And in the wake of this attack, the current Hokage Minato is killed and the previous Hokage Hiruzen steps up. Now, I'm not saying Hiruzen was an Uchiha hater, but he was Hokage for at least the last few decades, and you can't tell me the Uchiha were planning a coup for 20 to 30 years. So, during Hiruzen's tenure, it's safe to say that things got worse for the Uchiha. So much so that there's a fucking fly in here. Anyway, so much so that they decided to take over and cause chaos in the place that they live, and have lived for many years. So fast forward just a smidgen and we get the most egregious and what I'm citing as the defining action of this whole thing. It's what makes sure the coup is going to happen, and in turn makes sure Itachi has to be the one to take on the responsibility of slaughtering the clan. The death of Shisui. And I'm not entirely sure whether or not the clan knew Shisui had his eyes taken since they never found a body, but I doubt it. And I doubt even more that they knew it was Danzo because Itachi is eventually accused by one of the Uchiha police members of killing Shisui. But either way, I think this is the moment Fugaku and the clan decided there was no other option because they just lost one of their biggest assets, and any loss is a greater impact to them more than it is the Leaf because the Leaf has way more ninja. Although the Uchiha have way more skill and power than any random ninja, and with the exception of mismatches like an elite ninja versus an amateur, I'd say the Uchiha would come out on top because again, even though the Leaf has more elites, the higher you go in terms of skill, usually you see that most ninja will end up specializing in one thing, like long range or close combat, defense, or maybe stealth. And let's address this right now. Kurenai was the only genjutsu specialist that we see that's not an Uchiha, and we don't really see a regular genjutsu user, period. And if I go with the only instance of an Uchiha and a non-Uchiha genjutsu battle, it means the Uchiha have even more of an advantage, which is good because I'm trying to prove a point, but for the sake of an argument, let's say it doesn't always go that way and some Uchiha aren't absolutely stellar at genjutsu. I would bet that most Uchiha are so well-rounded otherwise that as long as it's not a 2-on-1, the battle is still a toss-up with the Uchiha slightly favored. And I'm definitely no power scaler, but seeing Sasuke take out those two missed twins at the beginning of the series when he had almost zero experience tells me that an average Uchiha could probably take out multiple opponents at once. But that doesn't really matter because the Leaf has ninja to spare, so I think it ultimately comes down to the elites and the higher tiers. But they aren't the end-all be-all. Like, if Fugaku had killed Hiruzen but lost most of his elite Uchiha, I don't think the village would consider that a defeat. But at the same time, if the Uchiha whittle down the lower ranks, that's a pretty big blow to the village as a whole, and I think Hiruzen would have definitely considered just stepping down if it meant no more bloodshed. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Itachi. I completely forgot that that's what I was doing. Okay, so like I said at the beginning, I think Itachi has made some mistakes along the way. That starts with Shisui. I think Itachi was so shell-shocked that he just kind of went along with Shisui's plan, which wasn't a very good plan. Shisui wanted to take the peaceful route just like Itachi, so why not go back to the clan with your one good eye and use that as proof that Danzo is the one propagating bad blood between the Uchiha and Leaf? And with the entire police force guarding you, I don't think anybody is getting close enough to kill you. And even if Hiruzen says that's not enough to get Danzo out of here, years down the line a guy with one Byakugan spots the chakra signature of Shisui's eye. You know who has way more than one Byakugan? The Leaf. So there are two possibilities here. Since Shisui just had this encounter with Danzo, it's unlikely that the eye is already transplanted. So in that case, it's easy. Just have some Hyuga members look for chakra signatures on Danzo and in the places Danzo usually is, since Shisui's eye is something he would definitely keep close. Second option, if it is transplanted and under a seal already, things are a bit trickier since you have to figure that out, and the easiest route to do that is just ask him to take off the bandages. And if he can, open the eye, boom, he's caught. And I doubt it would go that easy, but I doubt it would go any further. And even if you want to let that go the way it did, when confronted about the idea of the clan by Danzo, why not just make a deal to kill Fugaku and have Itachi take over the clan and calm the talk of a coup? He was already on track to be the next head of the Uchiha, and as leader, Itachi probably would have had better politics and put the Uchiha clan in a better place than it was. And why ask for the safety of Sasuke in a situation like that? His whole clan just died and now he's alone and in a village that looks down on him with pity, and is ultimately not safe because Danzo is around, and you know that. And if Sasuke was all he cared about, why even let Danzo live after the fact? If Itachi had killed Danzo the night of the massacre, Sasuke would be perfectly safe in the village, and you're already a rogue ninja. Nobody would question one more body. And this is probably a long shot, and spoiler, this is some real Darkest Timeline stuff, but why only Sasuke? If Itachi had killed all the adults and left the kids, at least there would be a clan to rebuild, and they would probably focus on Itachi rather than the Leaf, but in the meantime, that's where they live, so the Leaf just got a whole batch of Sasukes. And because Sasuke is Itachi's brother, he probably gets the Naruto treatment and still leaves the village to go after Itachi. And finally, when Sasuke catches up with Itachi, why didn't Itachi just tell Sasuke what happened? And of course Sasuke would think he was lying at first, but he was already dying at that point, and Itachi did still slaughter the clan, and hearing it straight from Itachi, then going through the fight and talking to Obito, I think Sasuke wouldn't have immediately decided to redirect his anger because Itachi told him from his own mouth it was his decision, whereas Obito spun it more like he had no other options. And you see that same sentiment when Itachi comes back through Edo Tensei. He explains to Sasuke from his own point of view, and Sasuke immediately takes his sights off the Leaf. But I think he still kills Danzo and wants the elders dead too, so he probably wouldn't go to the summit and would catch Danzo on the way back. And since everybody hates Danzo, he didn't attack any other leaders, and Naruto just saved the entire village by himself, Sasuke might just be welcomed with open arms. But honestly, I think the Leaf was relieved when Sasuke killed Danzo, because Danzo was constantly causing as much tension as he could under the guise of for the village, and as a matter of fact, the whole Uchiha situation would have been fine had he not actively pushed it towards the worst outcome. And laws be damned, Sasuke was completely justified in killing Danzo, and I personally think this is one of the biggest reasons Hiruzen seemed to sleep at the wheel. But hey, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought down in the comments, and until next time, peace.
That thunder on me clap, make a nigga think before he act. Have a nigga dying on his back, then we double back. Shooters leaving rubber where you at. That's why niggas never wanna match.